Hello everyone, and welcome to this video on the Python programming language. So in this video I will attempt to determine the worst and best days for returns for the S&P 500 using Python. Now this may indicate the best and worst days to invest in the S&P 500. And for those of you who don't know, according to Investopedia, the S&P 500 is largely considered an essential benchmark index for the US stock market, and it is composed of 500 large cap companies across many industries. Alright, so I'm currently on Google's website. It's called colab.research.google.com, and I'm on it because it makes it really easy to start programming in Python. So all you have to do is go to this website and then log in using your Google account and get started writing your Python code. So to get started writing this code, go ahead and click on File, then New Notebook, where a new tab will open up for you, and then eventually a new cell will open up for you. And here I'm going to put in a description and comments. So I'm just going to put here, determine the worst and best days for returns for the S&P 500. Okay, so I'm going to create a new cell by clicking this code button here in the top left, and now I'm going to import the libraries that I plan on using throughout the program. So I'm going to import pandas as PD. I'm going to import numpy as NP. I'm going to get the date time from datetime. So from datetime, I'm going to import datetime, and then I'm going to import calendar, and I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and then I'm going to give my plot a style. So I'm just going to type plt.style.use, and I'm going to use the 538 style. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run this cell by clicking this button here to the left, and this will let me know if I made any mistakes. Also, before we continue, if you like the videos on this channel, then be sure to click that subscribe and like button, and to be notified about new videos from this channel, hit that bell notification. Also, you can get the code or dataset or just support the channel on Patreon at patreon.com/computerscience, and I will leave a link for that in the description below. Also, the material in this video is purely educational and should not be taken as professional investment advice. So be sure to do your own research before making any investment. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and create a new cell. And now in this cell, I'm going to create lists to store the daily simple return. Okay, for each day. So I'm going to create a list for Monday called Mon, and I'm going to set it equal to an empty list. And then I'm going to set or create a list called twos for Tuesday, and I'm going to set it equal to an empty list. I'm going to create another list called wed for Wednesday. I'm going to set it equal to an empty list, and I think you get the pattern now. So we're going to do third for Thursday, fry for Friday, sat for Saturday, and then sun for Sunday. Okay, and that will be all the lists that I believe I will need. So next I'm going to create a function to get the daily simple return for each day, and I'm going to append it to the corresponding day. Alright, so I'm going to call this function get_DSR, which will be short for get daily simple return. It's going to take in a day, and it's going to take in a daily simple return, or DSR for short. And then we need to check for the day. So if day is equal to Monday, then I want to append to my mon list, and that's just mon.append. I want to append the daily simple return, or DSR, and I'm going to cast this as a float. Okay. Else if the day is equal to Tuesday, then I want to append to my Tuesday list, which is called twos. So just type twos.append, and I want to append DSR, which is the daily simple return, and I want to cast that as a float. Okay. Else if the day is equal to Wednesday, and that's else if, there we go, then I want to append to the wed list. So that's wed.append float DSR, and I think you all kind of see the pattern here. So I'm just going to highlight these two else if statements. I'm going to copy them using Control C, and I'm going to come down here and paste it using Control V, and then just change a few things. So instead of Wednesday here, it's going to be Thursday, and this will be the Thurs list, and here will be Friday, and this will be the Fry list. And let's see, did I call it third or thurs? Okay, so let's make this thurs instead of third. Alrighty, and then I'm going to just do Control V again to paste those two else if statements, and then just change this to Saturday, and then this will be Sat, and this will be Sunday, and this will be Sun. Okay, so I think that looks good. Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm going to put an else statement here. So I'm just going to print something is wrong if we go to this else statement with the input for the day. All right, so I think that should do it. Let's go ahead and run this cell. Let's create a new cell, and now here I want to load the data set, the S&P 500 data set that I plan on using for this program. So from google.colab, I'm going to import files. Oops, let's see here, going to import files, and now I'm just going to type files.upload, and let's run this cell to upload the file. Let's click on choose files, and I'm going to choose this S&P 500 file. All right, so it's loading up. It looks like it's done. Let's create a new cell, and now in this cell I'm going to read in the data and store it into a variable. So I'm going to create a variable called df and set it equal to pd.read_csv, and I'm going to read in that file that I just now loaded, which is called S&P500.csv. and I want to take a look at the data. So here I'm just going to show the data. So I'm just going to type df here, and I think everything is good. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, and now we can see the data set contains 7,409 rows of data and 7 columns. And then we can see the date from January 29th, 1993 all the way to June 30th, 2022. All right, so that looks good. I'm going to change just a few things on here. So I'm going to set the date as the index. So to do that, I'm just going to set df equal to df.set_index, and then pd dot date time index, and I'm going to input the df date dot values. Okay, so I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and run this, and perfect. So now I have the date as the index, and I can really keep the date column. It's not really a problem. So let's go ahead and create a new cell. All right, so now in this cell I want to calculate and show the daily simple return. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable called DSR, which again will be short for daily simple return. I'm going to set it equal to df, and I'm going to use the close price column for the return, and I'm going to type pct underscore change and input the number 1 for 1 day. So here I'm just computing the daily simple return. All right, and then I'm going to create a column to store it. So the column will be called DSR in the original data set, and let's set this equal to DSR. Okay, so I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and remove the first row of data from the data set. So that's easy enough. We're just going to set df equal to df, and we're going to get everything from that second row, which is at index 1, and we're going to get everything else. Okay, so this will effectively remove the first row of data from our data set. So let's go ahead and show the current data set. So I'm just going to type df here, and let's run this. Alrighty, so now we can see we have 7,408 rows of data, where before we had 7,409 rows of data. So we see we got rid of that first row. Let's go ahead and create a new cell, and now I want to create a loop to gather the daily simple returns for, or I should say of, each day from the data set. So let's create that loop. I'm going to use a for loop. So for I in range 0 to the length of the data set. So I want to go through the whole data set. I'm going to get the current date and cast it as a string. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore date. I'm going to set it equal to df dot index at position I, and again I want to cast this as a string, so I'm just going to put str here. I'm going to surround it with str. Okay, so again I'm just getting the current date and casting it as a string. Alright, next I'm going to get the current daily simple return. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore dsr, and I'm going to set this equal to df dsr at position I. And again, I'm just getting the current daily simple return, and then I want to get the month. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore month. I'm going to set it equal to df dot date, and I'm going to split that date by the dash, and then I want to get the second character, which will be at position 1. So this should give me the this should give me the current month, right? So get the current month. Okay, next I'm just going to get the current date without casting it to a string, which I probably should have did this first, but oh well, doesn't really matter. And that's just going to be df dot index at position I. Okay, so again I'm just getting the current date, and then I want to get the weekday. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore weekday, and I'm going to set this equal to calendar dot day underscore name cur underscore date dot weekday. All right, and this will get the weekday. All right, and now here's probably the most important part after I correct the misspelling of calendar. All right, so here comes the most important part. We need to add the daily simple return to the corresponding list for the day. Okay, and to do that, we're just going to call that function that was created earlier called get underscore dsr, and I'm going to put in the weekday, so that's df underscore weekday, and I'm going to put in the daily simple return, which is just df underscore dsr, and that should be it. So let's go ahead and run this. All right, so it looks like there is an issue, and let's see what that issue is. Object has no attribute date. Okay, so the problem here is I put df dot date instead of df underscore date. So let's run this again, and there we go. All right, so I'm gonna create a new cell, And now in this cell, I'm going to create a function to average the returns of each weekday. All right, so I'm going to call this function AVG, and it's going to take in the day. And the first thing that I plan on doing is checking if the day is empty. All right, so if not day, so again, this will check if let me see here, if this is true, then the list is empty. All right, and if so, then we're going to return a list containing 0. All right, so I'm going to return a list containing 0. Else it's not empty, so I'm going to return a list containing the sum of day divided by the length of day. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. And now let's create a new cell. And here I'm going to create a new data frame and set the index to be the days of the week. So I'm going to create a variable called df underscore returns and set it equal to pd dot date frame. And I'm going to set the index to be the days of the week. So that's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. Next, I'm going to get the average for each weekday and add the values under the column that I'm going to call AVG. All right, so I'm going to create a new column for that df underscore returns variable that I just created. So the column will be called AVG, and I'm going to set this equal to AVG mon plus AVG twos plus AVG wed plus AVG thurs plus AVG fry plus AVG set plus AVG sun. Okay, so I think that will do it. Let's go ahead and run this. All right, looks like there's an issue there, and so there's no attribute called date frame. So again, misspelling on my part is data frame. Let's go ahead and run this again. Okay, and let's create a new cell. All right, now I want to plot the daily simple returns, and I'm going to put the AVG daily simple returns. So to do that, just type df underscore returns dot plot dot bar. All right, and let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. So from this chart here, we can see that that Tuesday tends to be the best day for the S&P 500 returns. And so this may be a good day to actually sell that asset. And then Friday seems to be the worst day for returns. So Friday may be the best day to buy the asset. All right. And now let's create a new cell. And I want to show the returns. So I'm just going to type df underscore returns here. And let's run this. Okay. And there we go. So now we can see some number values with the data. All right. So thanks for watching the video, and a special thanks to the Patreon supporters on patreon.com/computerscience. Again, if you would like to become a supporter of this channel, I will leave a link to the Patreon page at patreon.com/computerscience in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you found this video educational and entertaining, and I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.